It sounds like everything's, going well for you over there.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited about LSDs being. I think this is probably the first distributed LSD that goes online, apart from Rocket Pool, of course, the original OG um, of community LSDs.
Yeah. So this is exciting for us. We're excited to be in mainnet. And if you don't mind, I have a few slides that just to kind of catch people up to speed. I know I gave some last time, and you have a whole call to take care of after this, so I can make it quick. And I want to give you guys, I guess, a little bit of a demo as well. Is that okay with you, Lansky?
Absolutely, I don't mind at all. Like, so that you're definitely encouraged to do so.
Okay, great to hear. So I'm going to share my screen here. You can all see, as Lansky said, the DAppNode giveaway is live, and you could join before the end of this call. It is that easy. It does not take much time. And so I will go through at a a decently high level, I guess, what is Stakehouse LSD networks. I know a lot of you already know, are familiar. Maybe some of you are already using them. But the question is, how do we find liquidity for quality node operators for these DAppNode operators? But before we get into that, just Stakehouse at a very high level. It's an automated delegation and accounting protocol for ETH staking. What that means is anybody can come in as a node operator, anybody can provide liquidity, and everything is automated. That means you don't need to have any separate agreements. The payouts are all taken care of. Whoever owns each portion of each validator gets those rewards. And the really cool thing that sets Stakehouse apart from, as Lansky called it, these decentralized LSD networks, is every ETH that's staked in Stakehouse, whether you're a liquidity provider or a node operator, is accounted for in the consensus layer 1-to-1 with a derivative. So you put in an ETH into Stakehouse, whether if you're a liquidity provider, if you just want to try it out before you run a node, whatever it might be, you can put an ETH in, and once it's staked, you can see which validator your ETH is a part of. This is brand new. This is consensus layer data on the execution layer. So what does this mean for ETH stakers? This basically just increases optionality, and it gives people additional ways that they can come together. So for the everyday user, it looks like, any other liquid staking protocol. They come in, they deposit ETH, and they get their derivatives if they're protected stakers. If they're an MEV staker, they actually collect rewards in ETH because MEV is paid in ETH. It's not paid in derivatives. It's not staking rewards. It's a little bit different. For the node operators, it's permissionless liquidity to run. And the interesting part about Stakehouse LSD networks is anybody can create an LSD network. You could create one for your friends, could create one for an organization. You can gatekeep who you want in it. You can whitelist LSD or node operator addresses, whatever you want to do to keep people in or keep people out. That's up to you. This is just increasing your optionality to come together around staking. I'll get into those a bit later. So a lot of people always ask, this sounds a lot like any other solution, but there's a big difference. It's this difference between synthetic tokens and derivative tokens, where every derivative is accounted for 1-to-1 in the consensus layer, which, as far as I know, no other liquid staking protocol can say that, because there's this pool of ETH that derivatives are minted against before the ETH is actually staked. So if all of this ETH wanted to be pulled out of the validators, there would be issues. So the other part is that they'll use oracles as price feeds, where Stakehouse doesn't do that because oracles are slightly centralizing, where Stakehouse believes that, the consensus layer data is the true data. That's where the validators are. So that's where this should live. So that again goes into like the pooled rates versus validator rates, where if you're holding derivatives from a validator that's yielding 4.5% or 4%, and somebody else's validator is yielding 2%, well, those derivatives should yield at different rates. It doesn't make sense to provide a pooled rate. So capital efficiency node operators, you get your validator for a 4 ETH bond. You can use it with any client, any node infrastructure. I must say DAppNode is probably one of the best node options here, as everybody knows, but you get complete autonomy over that node operation. So again, very, very simple to create an LSD network. You can just set your commission rates. You can decide if you want to do any gatekeeping. You get to name it whatever you want, and you can set your address. It is really, really simple. So I'm just going to hop into and show you guys a little demo just to make it easy. So here it is. Here's the Garoli interface, and people can choose from these 3 staking options. They can become a protected staker. They can get their derivative ETH that yields at a higher rate than traditional validator. They get they can put in any amount they want. MEV stakers can get MEV. There's no minimum. You can come in here. You can put in your ETH. Very, very simple. And just like that, you now have put ETH in. Now this ETH isn't staked, so you cannot get derivatives as soon as you put them in. It needs to be matched with a node operator. And once that node operator stakes the validator, that is when the derivatives become available. So we can go over to the Manage tab. And as you can see, the 20 ETH I deposited here is sitting just right there. And here it is. I gotta show you guys this. This is a lot of what I've been talking about. A lot of these differences can be seen when I click this button right here. And now in this wallet has its own portfolio of derivative ETH. So when we're talking about granular to the validator level, you can actually see that on this monitoring tool. This is the aggregate of all the derivative ETH this wallet is holding. Now, if I scroll down, I can see the health of each validator. I can see the LSD network that it's staked in. I can see my rewards. I can see everything broken down very simply for me. It keeps it very easy for me to understand what is going on. And if I really want to break this down further, I can see details on each individual validator, including who the node runner is via their address. Now, this address can be updated by the node operator. They can put in their name or whatever it is that they want to be identified as, and people can start building up reputations in Stakehouse as being quality node operators, and maybe people are more interested in them running the validators rather than somebody who is letting their validator slip or get this leakage, whatever it might be. So that is a little bit about LSD networks. If you want to try it out before you get into it, there is an incentivized testnet that is still running. I'm not sure how much longer it's going to be running, but it is an opportunity to come in as either a liquidity provider or a node operator and try it out, and to source this liquidity and to see what it's like. The process is very, very simple. And I'm just going to hop back here for a second because I forgot to show you guys how easy it is to stake a validator. So node operator, you come in, you just register your deposit data file, and you can put in, so here, if I want to register this deposit data file, I can go here, just drag and drop it, very simple. And I can select my LSD network, any of them that I want, right? And then
the
I can
NST,
go
for
in.
example.
What was that?
DNST, for example, down the bottom.
Yes.
The
Yes.
DAppNode
Yes.
stake.
There it is. DAppNode stake. Probably the best one, right? So here we go. I can
Probably the best
deposit.
one.
Yeah, I like the way this is going in testnet here. Okay, great. So there it is. I've registered my validator. Now it's pending. I ran the transaction, so you get to wait with me here. And once this is done, I can simply go over to the manage validators. Boom, ready to stake. And I can go and I can just source the liquidity from the protected stakers. I can then source the liquidity from the MEV stakers, and then I just upload the key store file to verify that it is the same validator, that I'm ready to go. Boom, that's it. You're now running as part of an LSD network. So I showed you the live demo a little bit. Now to the exciting part, the DAppNode giveaway, and dare I say that the Stakehouse validators, the home stakers, might be the best looking DAppNodes that I've ever seen. They've got this custom plate, they've got a nice custom box. The DAppNode team put them together beautifully, and we are very excited about these. All you have to do to qualify is you stake a validator in mainnet. And to have the validator staked, that means you put in the 4 ETH, you source the liquidity, you stake the validator, and then there's a simple form. Basically, there's no way for us to send you a DAppNode unless we know where you live. So we need to collect a little bit of information from you to send you this DAppNode. But once you get this DAppNode, you are up and running. You have a DAppNode and a validator for only 4 ETH. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys. I'm happy to answer any questions about the DAppNode giveaway. I'm happy to answer questions about Stakehouse. But otherwise, you can always reach out. We have a shared channel on Discord. You can send me a DM, and we can talk DAppNodes and Stakehouse DAppNodes and all of that. Whatever you want to talk about, I'm there.
Awesome. Excellent. I do have something to show you guys as well related to this. And it's, okay, so as the node operator, you've seen everything that you need to do on the website, on the Stakehouse side. But what do you need to do on the DAppNode side to be a node operator for this? So let me just show you. Let me just show you very quickly. Maybe I'll just share the screen. Here we go. Are you guys seeing my screen? I'm not seeing too many screens.
No, we're not. We're not seeing the screen yet.
Okay, let me just do it again. Share screen. Here we are. Are you seeing it now?
Yes, can see your screen.
Okay, good, fantastic. So yeah, so there's a couple of things that you need to do, and one of them is to generate your key stores with the right values, right? Like the key, what are the right values? The right values are to use the LSD network contract as the withdrawal address, not yours, cheeky. You'd like to call the withdrawal and send it to you, but that's not going to be accepted. You need to set it up to the the contract that does all the accounting. And for that, there's a little package right here, which is a modified Wagyu that you might be able to use. It's not adapted yet to create these keys for Stakehouse yet, because we want to adapt them. We're waiting for some updates on the Stakehouse team to do on the SDK, and then you'll probably be able to create your keys directly from your DAppNode right here. So they will be imported into the staking brain automatically. Another thing that if you cannot wait for this and you want to just try it right now, you can create the keys, make sure that you follow the instructions for the key generation, and you put the right fee recipient and the right everything. And another thing that we will have is when you drop the key store here, I'm just going to put a random key store. Here we go. And then you choose the staking protocol. You choose Stakehouse as the staking protocol. It will automatically populate the fee recipient with the LSD that you have chosen. It's not implemented yet, but it's to show you how easy the process is going to be. It will automatically do a call to the smart contract, say, hey, this registered validator that I have registered on their website, which LSD have I registered it for? The DAppNode LSD? Okay, cool. Which is the fee recipient of that? And it will populate automatically. So you don't have to do anything. You just drop the key and here we go. Now, this is not how it works, by the way. Black mode, it's a lot better. Same here. I'm going to use dark mode because it's new and it's delicious and it has some bugs, but it works just fine. So yeah, this is an interesting, an important step that you will need to do. Well, you will be able to create directly from this the sneak peek that I'm giving you guys on the Wagyu Launchpad that's going to be on the DAppNode itself, and then you'll be able to, and if not, you'll be able to import it manually, but choose your protocol right here. So that's all I needed to say on the integrations that we're doing on the DAppNode side.
It's really exciting, all the stuff you guys are doing. I just got to say, where you make everything so simple, it's the same idea of giving ETH stakers optionality, letting them choose their own journey, letting them choose how they want to do it, and just providing these simple tools to get from 0 to 1. It's awesome, Linsky.
Thank you. And yes, that's exactly it. I think optionality is like one of our main sort of design principles. We're not pushing for anybody to do anything in particular. The users are completely self-sovereign on what they run on their DAppNodes. But we try to make it extremely simple, right? Still making it simple for people to use it. Cool. Any questions on how this is going to be? Time for the community. Some people are writing, but you can also unmute yourself and just speak. That's right.
Yeah. So
yeah, go ahead, Derek. That's your protocol.
Yes. So, no problem. I'm happy. It makes me excited. You understand it so much. So the 4 ETH minimum, yes, that is the minimum to stake as a node operator, and that's the current minimum for everything now. I believe there are some proposals in the DAO that might be looking at a few other ways to do it, but yeah, 4 ETH is that minimum to get your own validator and go through that whole process that we were talking about and to get your DAppNode. See a few more people typing here.
We're going to wait a few minutes, well, a few seconds until they have time to write. You can also unmute yourselves and just front run all these typers.
So the node operator, the node runner receives 50% of the MEV created proportional to their pool. So if it's an LSD network for 1, well, they'll get 50%. If it's an LSD network for 2, then they will get 25%, and so forth. There's a little bit of a smoothing there for the node operators. I believe, Lansky, the hardware characteristics Santiago wants to know for these DAppNodes. What I can say is on the surface, they look great. But what's inside I know is very powerful, and I think you could give a little bit more of a rundown on that.
Yeah, Clara, I think you might know exactly what it is, but I think it is the 2 terabytes NVMe disk or 4 terabytes NVMe disk. That's my question, but it's definitely 64 on the 64 gigabytes of RAM. So we're talking about an i7 Series 11.
It's a great opportunity to upgrade your DAppNode if you already have one, or get a new one. You know, you essentially for 4 ETH, you get this validator, and you get a DAppNode, and you get something that looks really nice on your desk. So there's a lot of benefits here.
Hi guys, I actually have a question. So I'm like new, and I know that you were saying this would be a good opportunity if you were like trying to update your DAppNode, but like if I don't even have a DAppNode, is this like a good avenue to go into, I guess?
Yeah, that's an
Or look
excellent
into?
question. Yeah, this is an excellent question, because you will, so in order to start this, in order to opt in for the DAppNode, you need to postulate as a node operator. You need to join an LSD, join as a node operator, put 4 ETH, and start your nodes. You need to start it, right? So the fact that you need to start it means that you need to already be running this. Otherwise, your validator will start incurring in penalties, because you will not have a machine where these are running. So I recommend you set up a VPS, for example. If you don't have a DAppNode, or you don't have a machine where you can install DAppNode, even if it's like an old laptop or an old NUC or something. It doesn't need to be something great. It needs to be something until you receive the new one. And you set up a DAppNode there. You use and you start running these validators, so it will not incur in leakage once the 28 ETH that are left you will put 4, but the other 28 will come from the pool. So there'll be no inactivity leak on this, and you'll start validating from the get-go. You could be lucky, and the shipment would be very fast to you, and it could arrive before you've joined the queue, so before the queue for joining as a validator has passed. Because as you said, you're new, so I'm going to explain something that maybe you already know, because it's maybe it's a little bit basic for the rest, but just in case. When you join as a validator, when you say to the protocol, hey, I have 32 ETH, this is my validator key, activate it, you actually have to join a queue, and then and this takes a few days to join and start validating. So you could be lucky and the DAppNode will arrive during this period, or maybe not. Maybe it could get caught up on customs or something like that. So we recommend you have an alternative plan during this period.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So I see another question come in from GBeast. You want to know about withdrawing the ETH. So that is a great question, and withdrawing your ETH is possible. Well, not yet. Withdrawals aren't enabled, but what you can do with Stakehouse now is, if you bring back the derivatives that were minted and burn them. So if, say, even you are a node operator, you can go out there, you can buy this derivative ETH, and you burn the derivative ETH, and you burn all the derivatives associated with this validator. Well, then you can remove the validator from the Stakehouse system, from the Stakehouse protocol, and you can still be running your validator. You're still on the consensus layer. It's still staked, but you're outside of the Stakehouse. And then once withdrawals are enabled, you should hopefully be able to withdraw your ETH from the consensus layer. But that is the process. It involves burning of these derivatives and opting to rage quit. If you want to kind of dig into that, I know we're chatting a little bit. We can send you a bit more information on what that looks like. But right now, it is possible to remove validators from Stakehouse, and then it's just up to withdrawals. And that's kind of the benefits of having this trustless system and having it all via smart contracts is that there doesn't need to be there doesn't need to be a separate like agreement and trust in another party that you'll return the ETH. It's that you can actually remove the validator yourself anytime. And Mark, you're asking how. Go ahead.
Maybe like related to this, there's a very interesting piece that it's quite complicated. So maybe we don't need to go into detail, but for the people that are interested and want to know how the protocol works, you should look up what the CIP is, because related to when you want to leave as a validator, there's the option of what happens if you have staked as a protected staker or as an MEV, and your validator is not operating correctly, right? And there is a mechanism for that, which is called the CIP. And yeah, maybe it's not the time now to go in depth for that, but like it's definitely an option. But definitely should read more onto that, because there's this possibility, and I think it's beautiful how it's all done. No oracles, all on chain. It's just beautiful.
Yep. So to answer your question, Mark, you need to stake your 4 ETH, and you need to have that validator staked in the consensus layer. From there, that's the requirements to receive the DAppNode. So as long as you want to be a node operator, really. Rob, you're asking, you can stake with Stakehouse and a solo staker on the same DAppNode. Lansky, I believe that's correct, right? I see a screen share popped up.
Lansky, I think you're muted.
I was totally muted. Thank you. I was, yeah, sorry. So the staking brain is the evolution of the Web3 signer UI, right? And here we've seen when you import keys, it doesn't matter. Like you put the JSON here, and you'll have a bunch of protocols that you can, like you can stake Solo, you can stake Rocket Pool, you can stake House, you can stake Wise, you'll have like Ether.fi, you'll have like whatever you want, and yeah, like the optionality that we were talking about is always going to be here. And yeah, since all of them, what they require is an execution client, a consensus client, a validator client, and then if you want to add extras like the MEV boost and stuff, you just have all of these already for your solo staker, right? Or even maybe you would not even have a solo staker. Maybe you would start with a Stakehouse validator, and then you can just join all the protocols that you want from there. Since you're already running the infrastructure, one more validator key is negligible for the machine. It really matters nothing. I've heard of people running on a DAppNode more than 1,000 validators. So and they can be from different protocols as well.
And that is a powerful node. Wow.
That's right. And GB says, when you upload the key stores to the Web3 signer, it's the same as a solo key store. This is true, but then we're also planning on integrating with DVT solutions. So they work a little bit different because you don't directly communicate with the beacon client. You have to first coordinate with the rest of the DVT group, the rest of like sort of validator multisig. We can do another session, another community call on DVTs. And yes, GBs, this is correct, especially now that withdrawals are going to be enabled. The case that you're saying. Okay. So we have a few more topics that we need to touch on. like one of them is related to something that I'm going to say now, which is that. So how does DAppNode? What does DAppNode do here? Like, what apart from integrating this? Like, a lot of people, they have been asking me in ETH Denver. They've been asking me like, so what's the sustainability model of this? And we will create an LSD that will be the DAppNode LSD. We will create on mainnet. We will have the DAppNode LSD, and it will be an LSD run by you, guys, run by the operators. We will run as well, like as at a personal level. But the idea is that it will be a completely decentralized LSD network, and people will be able to make sure that they know if they put ETH, that they know that if they stake with that LSD, that's all the node operators are decentralized, and that's something that's very powerful against the likes of the main players right now, like a lot of the institutional staking, a lot of the Lidos, for example, when they're 29 operators. It's a powerful contribution to the decentralization as well. And if your question, and now you might be thinking like, okay, what do you mean it's going to be run by me? How are we going to do that? And here, that's a perfect segue for the next topic. So stay tuned. In the next topic, we're going to talk about this. It's going to be related to this. So, but I'm gonna tackle the last question. Thank you. Follow up. Can I run a different execution consensus layer for solo and Stakehouse staking, or does this mess up with my DAppNode setup? It's not recommended. You will not be able to do that by default on DAppNode. If I understand correctly, you would like to do to have an execution consensus layer for your solo stake and an execution consensus layer for their Stakehouse. And this is not a thing that we're doing for Stakehouse to separate Stakehouse from the solo or anything else. It's because it's complicated to be running those at the same time. It's complicated to be running those at the same time in the same machine. They collide with ports. They collide with. It's not trivial. What we are doing, and maybe if Luca is here, so right now you can already change consensus layers very quickly. If there's a problem with one, you can just change. Thanks to the magic of checkpoint sync, you already know that you can change them, and it takes no more than 2 minutes from changing from Prism to Lighthouse, for example. But execution layer, a lot more complicated, right? So we're starting to implement a solution here. So if you want to run 2 execution layers, just in case the one that you're using, the main one, fails for some reason, like a power shutdown into resync or something like this, and your other execution layer is fine, we are setting up a solution for this. And if Luca is here, maybe you can tell a little bit more about this.
So currently, after the merge, like it's been a while now, there is one-to-one correspondence between execution and consensus clients. And can somebody mute, please? All right. So but we've got the solution now, almost. That's designed to deal with that. So it will allow your single consensus client to run multiple execution clients. That will be done as a DAppNode package, but currently, because we implemented this Stakers UI, that changed a lot of things. It's not currently supported using Stakers UI, and that's what we're currently working on. So the package is there, but it requires a lot of like manual configuration, and we are not doing that. We are trying to integrate it with the Stakers UI, and it's hard because not hard technically, but how to present that solution, because it's a bit more advanced solution. We, as Lansky said, like optionality is a design method here, so we want to allow users to use it and not to use it, because it's another like cog in the wheel, and it complicates your setups by one more stuff, because you have a beacon chain, execution chain, if you're running any boost, you got the Web3 signage is become more and more complicated thing, and we want to give users not to use option not to use that. And yeah, we are trying to figure out like how to do something like that, so it's usable, it's understandable for like people that are not too deep into it. Yeah, I hope
Excellent.
you
Yeah. Thank you.
you understood a bit of my range, but yeah, if there are any
Yeah.
questions, please ask.
Yeah, no. Excellent. Yeah, second DAppNode is better for this. Okay, so I don't want to take too much time, so probably we should be moving to the next topic. Derek, thank you so much for coming here. We will share. I think you've already shared the post on how to get it. So highly recommend it. Have a look, and you could be getting your next DAppNode from here. So we have a joint channel in our Discord with Stakehouse. Also, please ask all the questions there. Thank you, Derek.
Thanks for having me, Lansky.
All right. So the next topic that I wanted to talk about is, as I hinted, there is. So how are we going to choose the people that are going to be running nodes for this LSD? And we need to make sure that we know who are the reliable node runners, right? And here, Chuy's first action. Maybe he can explain a little bit more what's going to happen in the community. Big changes in the community.
Okay. Can everybody see my screen and hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just making sure because Discord is not being great today. But yeah, well, thanks everybody for being here today. We're going to be introducing praise. So for those of you who aren't really familiar with praise, what is it? So praise is, let's say, like a rewards system, but that relies on community recognition. So what does this mean? Well, most of you have been around the Discord, around the DAppNode Discord server for at least, like a few weeks. So one of the big challenges is that there is like this huge inflow of users asking for technical support. They either have their DAppNode or they're trying to run DAppNode and they're running into some trouble. So there's a lot of chaos in the support channel, right? So a lot of longtime community members like Voss, like GBeast, have been helping out the community for the longest time. But like sometimes there aren't really like incentives to show, first of all, that these support actions by other community members have really like a huge impact in the DAppNode community, and second, that pretty much anyone could do it, right? So if you wanted to like dive deeper into DAppNode and then like grow into helping other users, there aren't really like incentives to do that. So this is why we are bringing praise. Probably some of you have at some point received some help or guidance, or on the other side, like some of you have always like provided support. So from now on, what we want to do is to start dishing praise, right? So how does praise work? It's very, very easy. It is a Discord bot that is going to start logging all of the contributions. Let's start by giving the praise giver role to somebody here that wants to volunteer. So I don't know, like, would any of you would like to help test praise and dish some praise for somebody that has helped you in the last week, don't be afraid. You can raise your hands.
I wanna praise G-Beast.
Okay, so let's give Lansky praise giver role because we're still figuring out that part, but it should be ready in the next few days. Okay, so Lansky, you are able to praise. So go to the praise channel and try to dish some praise for G-Beast.
I have to do that in the praise channel. Okay, good. Or can I do that
Yes.
in any channel? No, I have to do it in the praise channel. Okay.
Yeah, preferably. But I mean, you could praise anybody in any channel, but what it's important is that you have the praise giver role. So if anybody else would like to get this role while we figure out automation, please let me know or write it in the chat. So
I think I'll do it here because not everybody has access to the praise giver role yet. I think I'll do it here so people can see the command. Praise G-Beast for getting a round of beers for the DAppNode team in Denver. I don't know if it's public for everybody, but I just praised here in the community hangout. In the community hangout next to it. Here we go.
Yay. Great. So 5 pence is requesting the role. You already have it. So if you want to dish some praise, feel free to do so. So what happens to all of this praise? All of this praise goes into a quantification process that is very, very user-friendly, but we don't want to go there yet, just yet. But eventually, the idea is that the whole DAppNode community, especially the community that is getting recognition from the rest of the members, are able to be part of the quantification process. So what does this mean? Of course, like the main reason for praise is to provide support, right? Like that would be nice. But, you know, we really don't want to like raise like a technical bar there, you know? So dishing praise is always great for whatever reason. You know, like if you went to ETH Denver and got a round of beers for everybody else, that's completely valid praise. You know, not all praise is going to have the same weight, let's say, but I do feel that it is a very important cultural element to be able to recognize when other people do nice things. So I don't know, if you like somebody saying like GM and you think it's a valuable contribution to the community, just go ahead and dish some praise for that person. So what happens to all of this praise? So we are going to be launching a Nodler token. What is the Nodler token? This is not a substitute for the node token. This, on the contrary, is a reputation token, and it's non-transferable. So let's say that G-Beast has been giving a bunch of support, right? So he gets X amount of Nodler token in the next distribution. And if you get a minimum of that Nodler token, you can get access to other benefits, right? So trying to, you know, like bring it back home. The idea is to offer things like really nice things, right? Like the LSD pools and all of these things that Lansky was mentioning. But we want the right people to have access to these opportunities, right? So what better to give that power to the community and to their own capacity of recognition. So we're gonna be like coming back to praise and how it works and the specifics. Actually, I would really like to invite everyone to another call on Friday. Today here with us is Mitch, who is part of the praise team. And hey there, Mitch. Sorry, I just noticed that you were muted and I unmuted you, but welcome. So
Thanks.
Mitch is going to be helping us with a live demo on Friday. So make sure you mark that on your calendars. I'm going to upload it as soon as I'm finished talking to this Discord server. And yeah, I don't know if you have anything else to add, Mitch.
Nah, this is great. I'm really actually excited. I had a beer with Chewy this weekend, and we kind of talked about this. And I really think this is a novel way that DAppNode is trying to use praise to like vet the community and allow them to participate in a really, really cool product. So, I mean, cheers, Chewy and Lansky and whoever cooked this up. I think this is super innovative and excited to do a demo coming this Friday.
Thank you very, very much for being here today, Mitch. And yeah, we'll see you on Friday. And well, probably there are a bunch of questions, starting with how can community members benefit from getting praise? So these benefits around Stakehouse are only the beginning. I mean, we could pretty much do a bunch of things to recognize and benefit people who have a good reputation in our community. So yeah, I mean, if you're new to DAppNode, if you're still trying to get a hold of how everything works while setting up your DAppNode, all of this experience is very, very valuable, and we want you to come to the community and share some of this experience. And by sharing that and providing help to other people, you will be able to have benefits in the future just for building a good community reputation in DAppNode. So yeah, well, this is pretty much it. I don't know if anybody has some questions.
Just want to
Let me
add
check the chat.
that this is amazing. And yeah, as you said, so praise will start for the very, very old timers, for the DAppNode OGs. We had SourceCred back in the day. We had SourceCred that ranked the contributions of the people on Discord, and it was a similar way of organizing. But I feel like we've come a long way from it, and praise is a lot more qualitative. We had the community treasury that worked with SourceCred. Right now, it's a lot better, and we can create a culture that's a lot more active around praising people and making sure that we communicate why this is important, and that we also rank these contributions like according to quality, right? So we're trying this again. The Noddler will be a non-transferable reputation token, and the idea is that this will become like having. We don't know exactly how we're going to organize it, but once you reach certain threshold of reputation, then you will get like an NFT, and this NFT will give you access to become a node operator for a future DAppNode LSD network, for example. So praise doesn't give money per se. Noddler is worthless. Noddler is just a reputation token. But if you gain enough of it, then you gain access to money-making opportunities by running your node. You get access to opportunities where you could be able to offer your services to the DAppNode DAO, to the DAppNode LSD, and get paid for it. So it's and that's only one of the initial ideas, right? The good thing about the system is that it's so flexible. We can be adding new perks to having reputation, perks or options, or like whatever it is.
So right now I'm giving you the praise giver role manually to some of you that I've seen around the support channel. So the only thing that you need once you have the praise giver role, the only thing that you need to start dishing praise is to type in /activate. That will give you generate a unique link where you'll be able to sign in with your wallet and link it to your Discord profile. So, okay, I see that Santiago is trying to dish some praise. So I'll give you the praise giver role, and after that, just type in /activate. And
we might get rid of the praise giver role. We need to do some testing. Maybe like anybody will be able to give praise to anybody. It depends on how difficult the quantification process later becomes, right?
Yeah, we're still tweaking it, but yeah, let us know if you have some praise to dish, and also if you have any questions, make sure you attend the Friday live demo. And well, yeah, I think that's it, and I'll pass the stage to Lansky.
Fantastic. Okay, so we're running out of time. I don't want to overextend, but I do want to give you some updates of what happened in Denver. So one of the things is that we met with the Stakehouse team, and you've seen the result right now. Actually, this has been a longer time in the making since we had the first community call on them, but it was very nice to catch up with them. You will recall that in my last sort of explanation of where DAppNode is going is we mentioned that DAppNode has always been an a technological accessibility project, meaning that we make it accessible for anybody to access Web3 and run infrastructure and be able to access this base layer to really decentralize the infrastructure of the decentralized network. So technological accessibility. We mentioned that in 2023 is the year we become also an economic accessibility project, meaning that people that do not have 32 ETH, they can also start participating in the decentralization of the protocols that they like, and they get paid for it, of course. So basically, what I think ETHDember was great on that regard, right? So in ETHDember, we met with a lot of protocols that are working in order to make this accessible. So Stakehouse is one of them. We've already seen how it works. We also met with Rocket Pool. They'll be able to run a Rocket Pool node very soon on DAppNode. It's already working on mainnet. We already have one working, but we're just making sure that everything goes well with the staking brain and everything before we push it to be online. So we met with Stakehouse, Rocket Pool. We had a talk at the Stakehouse multi-chain, well, the Blockswap network multi-chain ERC20 event. We had a talk on decentralization, and we had a panel as well, which was really interesting. We had also a workshop with Stakewise on how to run a node for a vault, which is similar to the LSD networks that we've been seeing with Stakehouse. We also spoke with Ether.fi, which is a new protocol of delegated staking. So people can delegate their ETH, their 32 ETH, to a DAppNode, to a person running a DAppNode, and you can run that node for them. We also met with Stater Labs, which have been growing their own LSD network. We met with Lido and their Lido V2. I don't know if you've been keeping up, but Lido is very interested in decentralizing as well. So we met with Lido and see how we can integrate, how can we make sure that all the DAppNodes can participate as being node operators for DAppNode as well. And of course, we met with all the DVT solutions, right? So I think a lot of LSD networks are a little bit scared that of giving power to the centralized node operators or permissionless node operators, because they can either be malicious, or they can be cheeky or unreliable. So DVT is a layer that will help a lot covering or closing those fronts. We met with Obol, we met with SSV, we met with Diva, and those are the three protocols for DVT that I know, and that we plan to integrate in the short term. Not only this, but we also talked with the EF and that's maybe it's less interesting for you, but we are working on a plan to increase the number of nodes in geographically underserved locations, because now we don't need this 32 ETH. Because we don't need this 32 ETH, people will need a much lower amount of ETH, like 4 ETH, in order to run a node. So what can you do to put nodes physically in locations where traditionally there haven't been a lot of nodes, like Latin America or like Southeast Asia, etc. So we're working with the EF in order to put some DAppNodes in there. We're working also with the EF in order to put DAppNodes in universities. So they will be running their own nodes. Universities might be running their own nodes. And yeah. Leaving the Ethereum ecosystem, we also had a talk with Luxo. Luxo is another layer one based on the Ethereum protocol, much like Gnosis chain. They will also launch their Genesis on their Beacon chain very soon, and you will be able to run a Luxo validator on DAppNode. So we've been talking to them as well to make sure that we integrate. And that was a lot of meetings that we had, and then we even met with some of the community members. I don't know if they want me to say it out loud, but there's a couple on this call that were there as well. I've already gave GBeast away. I'm sorry when I dished you praise. But yeah, there was another community member. I don't know if he cares if I name him or not, but yeah. So it was really nice. We also, so this member also gave us a contact to speak with Nouns, the NFT project, and also with Farcaster, which is basically the centralized YouTube. And we're also planning to pursue these opportunities for people to be able to run nodes on Farcaster, from Farcaster as well in DAppNode. Whew, that was a long list of things. Yeah, that's pretty much, that's definitely not all we did. We also lost at football against Martin Koppelman, the CEO of Gnosis, and I was personally hurt because I thought I was good at it. So so basically, I am going to be a lot less on Discord right now because I'll be training professionally for beating Martin at football. This is only half a joke. Okay, any questions? Yeah, definitely very, very busy in Denver. Usually I have more time to socialize, but not really. Will there be a watch party for the next fort? Definitely a good idea. Definitely a good idea. We can make a watch party for the next fort. I love how Chewy wrote football in the German way. That hurts me a little bit because that's, you know, a German beat me, but it's fine. Where can we read more into the full 4 ETH mainnet nodes part? So this is, you will see the last message that Derek posted in this channel where you are writing. No, Aidan. Well, Aidan and Derek, yes. So I'm just putting it up here. Here. Good, perfect. So this is the, oh, Derek has already done it. Perfect, fantastic. Okay, cool. So we've been a little bit over time, 1 hour and 11 minutes. There was a lot of information to give. I will stay for a couple of minutes or like 5 minutes or so in the chat trying to respond to any other questions that there might have been. And otherwise, I would like to thank you very much for this call. Very excited about what's to come for DAppNode, what's to come with Stakehouse, what's to come with the new LSDs that are coming up. I think it's huge because we can leverage our hardware that we're already running, and with not so much ETH, with not increments of 32 ETH, we can put more validators in there and make it more profitable. We have literally no extra cost in the hardware level, and now we can add things on here. So for node runners, this is huge news. Huge news. There's a question on Gitcoin. How do you manage to keep all the packages? Are you going to reopen Gitcoin grant for donations from the community funding? So yeah, so this is a really good question in La 20. Very quickly, let me address this because that's an amazing question. And what we're planning to do is we're planning to start introducing ways of injecting money into the team and into the DAO. One of them is creating our own LSDs. Creating our LSDs is beneficial. It's like, so we were very concerned about finding Web3 business models, right? Web3 business models are non-extractive, are based on creation of value instead of extraction of value. So if we're providing ways for people to run their own nodes, that's fantastic, that we're creating value. But we didn't want to inject here like a fee, or like, hey, this is your validator. And as I said, optionality is key for us. And if you put your 32 ETH and you put like, we don't know whether you're running a DAppNode or not. Like there's, it's very hard to get something from there, and we don't even want to. But if we're creating an LSD that has the name DAppNode on it, and it provides value to the ecosystem because only DAppNodes run it, so it's completely decentralized on the operator side, which is what we want for a future Ethereum. These LSDs, like Lido or anything, people who are lazy and they want to put their ETH and they don't want to run their nodes, they're happy to pay a fee. That's what they do. That's what they do with Lido. There's a 10% fee. That's what they do in all the protocols, right? So a fee of these will come to DAppNode from the node operators. Will come. We'll be able to extract a fee, and this will also go to the node runner. So this is a place where we provide value to the ecosystem, to the user, because it has access to this, and we can put value to ourselves as well. So this is one of the non-extractive ways of creating value that we have created. That said, I've also had a very informal discussion with a member of the Gitcoin team in order to set up a sub-DAO for people to fund the development of their favorite packages. So there could be that we will use the Gitcoin stack to create a round that people can use to fund their packages. And like, for example, the Optimism package is already being funded, like heavily funded. It's very profitable to maintain that package, and it's being used by Daniele Salati, and he's getting donations for that. So that would be a way of doing it. And now yes. Well, let's just give the conversation here finished, and I'm gonna stick around for whoever wants to ask more questions or hear what the next questions ask. Aidan, thank you, man. I do have a Web3 podcast, and it's the Diorg hot seat. Oh, I gave you a wrong URL. Sorry.
For what it's worth, Lansky,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Diorg panel you did was awesome. I know I told you that in DMs, but just so everybody else knows, it was a well run panel. It was really informative. Thanks for that.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks to you. Thanks to you. I really appreciate that. Sometimes you don't know whether anybody's listening when you're up there or when you're doing any podcasts or anything. So it really helps. Okay, beautiful. So no more questions now. Yes, we're going to leave it here. Thank you everybody for being here. Thank you for being a member of this community, and we will see you in the next community call.